Hi, this is Chris McKaylee with a video podcast on California's constitutional officers. There are a number of political institutions within the state of California, from the obvious political parties to over 200 different state entities, and then our constitutional officers, those who are elected to statewide office, in addition to the governor, of course. So California has 8 other constitutional offices, 9 including the governor. 2 of those offices are normally appointees of a governor in most other states. That's the superintendent of public instruction and the insurance commissioner. And then note that even though there are 4 members of the Board of Equalization, they're described as one statewide office. And in all other states, we don't have elected tax agencies. So let's review those 8 other constitutional officers beyond the governor. The first is the lieutenant governor, and the lieutenant governor in California has a largely ceremonial role in the state. She runs separately. The lieutenant governor is not on the same ticket as the governor, obviously, as opposed to how the president and vice president of the United States are elected jointly. The lieutenant governor officially serves as the president of the state senate, but only casts a vote in the case of a 2020 tie. The lieutenant governor also serves on a number of boards and commissions and is the chair of the State Lands Commission. Under our state constitution, the lieutenant governor serves as acting governor whenever the governor is absent from the state and automatically becomes governor if a vacancy occurs in that office. The lieutenant governor serves as a voting member of the Board of Regents of the University of California, as well as a voting member of the Board of Trustees of the California State University System. Moreover, pursuant to state law, the lieutenant governor chairs the California Commission on Economic Development, which provides support and guidance to the governor and the legislature and the private sector regarding the development of California's economy. In turning to the Attorney General, the Attorney General by the Constitution in Article 5 is the chief law enforcement officer of the state. The California Constitution establishes the Attorney General as the state's chief law enforcement officer, which means he or she is responsible for ensuring that the laws of the state of California are enforced. And the Attorney General is vested with broad powers and carries out those duties through the Department of Justice. And DOJ includes over 4,500 employees who are engaged in a variety of law enforcement and legal services and have offices in Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Oakland, and Fresno. Turning to the state controller, who is the chief financial officer of California, the 5th largest economy in the world. And the controller is responsible for accountability and disbursement of the state's financial resources. And she conducts independent audits of government agencies that spend state funds. This position also administers the state payroll system for government employees and the California State University employee system. The controller serves on 70 different boards and commissions with authority ranging from state public land management to crime victim compensation. Moreover, the state controller is a member of numerous financing authorities, as well as fiscal and financial oversight entities and the tax agencies, Franchise Tax Board, and Board of Equalization. The controller also serves on the boards of the nation's 2 largest public pension funds, CalPERS and CalSTRS, and the controller's office handles the state's unclaimed property law. Turning to the treasurer, the state treasurer has broad responsibilities and authority in the areas of investment, finance, and serves as the state's lead asset manager, banker, and financier. In addition, the treasurer serves as chair or a member of numerous state authorities, boards, and commissions, including CalPERS and CalSTRS. Moreover, the treasurer plays a key role in statewide housing finance as chair of the Tax Credit Allocation Committee that awards hundreds of millions of dollars in tax credits for affordable housing. And she's also a member of the board of the California Housing Finance Agency, which helps to finance affordable housing in the state. Next is our Secretary of State, who is a critical player as a political institution because the Secretary of State is where all the campaign and lobbying filings are submitted. As a result, campaign contributions to expenditures, reports by lobbyists, lobbyist employers are all filed online with the Secretary of State in her Political Reform Division. And all of these filings are available to members of the public and the media. And the Secretary of State's office is a clearinghouse for these materials. The Secretary of State also oversees the state archives, which has considerable records from prior governors as well as the legislature. The Secretary of State's office is comprised of about 500 individuals whose responsibilities include making government more transparent and accessible in the areas of elections, business, political campaigning, legislative work, and historical state treasurers. Turning to our insurance commissioner, who's elected and who regulates almost all lines of insurance, with the notable exception of workers' compensation. The commissioner heads the Department of Insurance, the CDI, which was created in 1868 as part of a national system of state-based insurance regulation. And today, CDI is one of the largest commercial protection agencies in the country. The insurance commissioner has been an elected position since the voters adopted Prop 103 in 1988. There are nearly 1,400 employees working at the CDI who oversee more than 1,300 insurance companies, and they license over 400,000 agents, brokers, adjusters, and business entities. And in the normal course of business, the CDI annually processes more than 8,000 applications. For rate changes, they issue about 190,000 licenses. Those are both new and renewals, and they perform hundreds of financial reviews and examinations of insurers who do business in the state of California. And lastly, CDI enforces the insurance laws of the state and has authority over how insurers and licensees conduct their business in California. Their primary sources of funding include licensing fees, assessments, and Prop 103 recoupment fees. Turning to the State Board of Equalization, the BOE or the SBE actually has 5 members. The controller by her position sits, plus the 4 elected BOE members, and they represent 4 districts of the entire state. Their job is primarily regarding local property tax assessments, but there are some areas of taxation that remain under their purview, which is set forth in the state constitution, such as aircraft assessment for property tax purposes, as well as insurance taxation. The BOE was established in 1879 by a constitutional amendment, and it was initially charged with responsibility for ensuring that county property tax assessment practices were equal and uniform throughout the state of California in the 58 counties. Over the years, the legislature expanded the BOE's subject matter to include over 65 tax and fee programs. However, in 2017 and 2018, the legislature created 2 new tax administration and appeals agencies and reassigned the BOE tax functions there, except for the constitutional ones. As a result, the BOE is now focused on its property tax oversight and other constitutional responsibilities. And turning finally to the Superintendent of Public Instruction, the state superintendent, the SPI, is a nonpartisan, who was originally a partisan position, by the way, who's elected as the Chief Executive Officer of the California Department of Education. And the SPI directs all functions of the DOE, the Department of Education. He or she executes policies set by the California State Board of Education, and the SPI also heads and chairs the Board of Education. In addition, the SPI serves as the state's chief spokesperson for the public schools, provides education policy and direction to local school districts, and serves as an ex officio member of the governing boards of the state's higher education system. So all these constitutional offices are subject to election every 4 years at the same time as the governor is. And every 4 years, they take office on the first Monday following January 1st.